Hi everyone, welcome to my video for day 2 of Cheltenham 2022. I'm making the video before racing starts on Tuesday, so I don't know the results of my 3 bets that were put up for Tuesday. Hoping to make a profit for the 5th year in a row, but nothing is guaranteed in racing, and you can never tell. Wednesday looks a difficult day in respect of there are a lot of short price favourites, 4 in all. With the weather unpredictable, it's difficult to judge how much rain's going to fall before racing. I'll just give you my assessment of all the races. If I have any bets for Wednesday, they'll be put up on a separate video later this evening. The Ballymore kicks off the day. Sir Gerhard's a short price favourite after ducking the Supreme. It will depend how much rain we get here if it compromises his chances. I would see Journey with Me wanting more rain, with Sir Gerhard not wanting so much rain. Now, Sir Gerhard's form is strong over 2 miles. He won last season's champion bumper, but he was being cut back hand over fist by Kilcrat, and it was a slow run race. He was also beaten in a strongly ran bumper at Punchestown after that race. His hurdles form is all over 2 miles. I would think he wouldn't want this to be a slog. If it's a speed test, he's the most likely winner. But if it becomes a slog, I would think Journey with Me would have a good chance. Stage Star is no back down, but I don't think. I suppose you'd give Stage Star more of a chance if you do start to see the British horses do well on day 1. I'm clearly going to want 3 Stripe Life to run well here. I really hope he does. Well, can he bridge the gap of 6.5 lengths to Sir Gerhard? It's a possibility. He has got more staying pedigree. Whether he can beat Sir Gerhard is another matter. I think for me in this race, I'd probably back Journey with Me each way. He's unbeaten. I think he's a little bit too big at 13-2. He's been underestimated as well a little, but I think his win over Manila Crooner and Kilcrat was a good run. And I think it's been underestimated because of his last win, where he didn't look that impressive, but he still won the race in a slowly run race. So for me, in the Ballymore, I would have to nail my colours to Journey with Me, but I'd really like to see 3 Stripe Life run well. I really think we can get a result in the Brown Advisory. It's really which one to pick. The 3 British horses at the head of the market, Brave Man's Game, Ahoy Senor and La Home Press. For me, I think we might be able to get them beat at a decent price. We have a lot of choice in the Irish runners. Capodanno is going to be the main Malins runner. I find it strange that he's put Galloping Deschamps into the Turners. He's put Statler into the National Hunt Chase and left himself a little bit short in the Brown Advisory. I'm not sure why he's done that. Unless Capodanno is a very good horse. He could well be. He was second to Bob Bollinger in his last chase start over just over 2.5 miles. He could improve for 3 miles and he could have a good chance. Gallard de Menil's the rider to Paul Townend, but that's only because Mark Walsh is obligated to ride Capodanno. So Gallard de Menil will be the rider Townend. He's got a decent chance, but he's not won over fences this season so far. The 2 I quite like are another British horse, 3 Under Through 5, who's very dismissed in the market. I think perhaps he maybe should have gone to the National Hunt Chase, but he's still got a very good chance. And the other one that I liked was Beacon Edge of Noel Meads. Noel Meads' horses are running really well at the moment. I think he's got a good chance. I just don't like that he ran so close to the race. I think if I was pushed, I'd take a chance on 3 Under Through 5. I really think there could be a turn up in this race. I think you should look at this race, looking for a turn up, find which one you think could be producing a turn up. I'm not for the ones at the head of the market. It could be wrong, but I think they're all too short, and I'm looking to get a turn up in the Brown Advisory. The Coral Cup is just a minefield. All the handicaps at the Cheltenham Festival are minefields. It is difficult to find one or two. A lot of the fancied runners have been well found in the market. I don't know if I'll be playing on Wednesday too much out of my bank. The two I quite liked in here were both at prices. The one who I was quite keen on is a chaser coming back to hurdling, which has been quite profitable in this race before. I quite like the look of Archdale Bob, who was third to Royal Kahala, giving £7 away, and then an unlucky second to the Devil's Coachman. I thought he was very unlucky to lose this race. He went for home perhaps a little bit too soon. Jesse Harrington's won this race before. I think he could be a decent price at 22 to 1. And I think he might drift to 25s. And I think if he does go to 25s, I'll be playing him each way with the best place option I can get. I think he's going to be underestimated in this market. I like him, and I think Archdale Bob will be my selection. The other outsider I liked was Commander of Fleet. I did hear his loss on a podcast talk about him, and she said it really depends which Commander of Fleet bothers to turn up on the day, but he's got all the ability in the world. Gigginstown have run a couple of good horses in this race in the past, and have been very unlucky at big prices, so I would not dismiss him either. But I think my first choice would be Archdale Bob, with the second choice being Commander of Fleet in the Coral Cup. I don't think I really need to preview the Champion Chase for everyone. Most people who watch the videos will be well versed in racing, and you'd all be able to make your own mind up what you thought of the Shiskin and Ergamine race at Ascot. We have to throw Chacun Pour Soi into the mix. He's not run well in his two runs in England, but he's still a player because his form's so strong in Ireland. If he could bring that form to Cheltenham, he would have a serious chance. It's just each time he's come to England, he's underperformed. It could be he doesn't like the travel on the boat, etc., or being away from home. It could be anything. I think out of the two, the smart play might be each way on an Ergamine. If you can get 4 to 1, you'll only lose a little bit of your stake should he come second. And there is a chance over the slightly shorter trip that he could just about turn Shiskin over. It was very close last time, and he was leading until the last 50 yards, so he has got a chance. I think I would take a chance on an Ergamine each way. I know people wouldn't think that's a good bet, but you're not going to lose a lot if he comes second or third, but you'll make a decent gain should he win. So for me, it would be an Ergamine each way, but not for big stakes, and certainly not a bet out of my bank. Just that's where I would go. But I think everyone would be making their own assessment up on the Champion Chase. I don't think I need to be covering that for everybody else. The cross country will be the swan song for Tiger Roll. He has a very, very obvious chance. And even though he'll be short, if the ground does stay on the good side, he'll be that price for a reason. But if this ground gets soft, I think he could be in trouble, and I think he could be a vulnerable favourite and one to take on. I'd be watching the ground on this race. If it starts to soften up considerably, I'd be looking at taking him on with perhaps Shady Operator, Midnight Maestro, perhaps even Prengard, who is actually going to run in this race and nobody thought he would. I think my preference would be Shady Operator each way, especially if you can get 4 places. If it's decent ground, I think Tiger Roll will be very difficult to beat. But if it softens up, then he could be in a little bit of trouble. I really didn't have a strong view on the Grand Annual. Certainly not like I have on the Coral Cup. Unless I go through the race again and find a bet in this race, I probably wouldn't be backing much. Andy Dufresne interests me. He's got a high weight, but he's a grade 1, grade 2 horse. He's down into a handicap. He interests me even off second top weight. I think he's got a good chance. He's not unfound in the market though. He's only around 7, 8 to 1. but I think he has a very good chance. People were saying that Gordon Elliott only had one run in this race and it was Buddy Rich, but Andy Dufresne's in this race for Gordon Elliott. I think he's got a good chance. Buddy Rich has obviously got a chance as well. And Embittered, I think, for Joseph O'Brien. Sorry, looking at my notes, but I think Embittered's got a bit of a chance, but it's not a race that I'd be piling money into. I think this is a race to be keeping quiet. I don't think I've got a lot of bullets to fire in this race, but unless I go through the form again and really start to fancy Andy Dufresne, I can't see me having a bet in this. Finally, in the Champion Bumper, it's the Wooly Mullins Brigade against American Mike here. He's got so many bullets to fire, and I'm sure the Elliott horse is going to feel quite vulnerable here with so many Mullins horses against him. American Mike's done nothing wrong. He's talked about in the glowing terms by everyone at Calantra. He's followed the route of the last two Elliott Bumper winners. He's taken in the same races at Down Royal and at Navan. I think he has got a great chance, but he's got a big task on his hands with Facile Vega winning so easily at Leopardstown. Redemption Day looks a hot pot. James's Gate for Mullins as well. He's got so many in this race, and it's very difficult to pick one out. I think I would be taking the favourite on, perhaps backing Redemption Day each way, as long as the ground doesn't get too deep. I think Redemption Day is a decent price in the race. I wouldn't be going crazy by any stretch of the imagination. This isn't a race to be going mad in. It's sometimes really turned up a big result for the bookmakers, so you've got to be careful in bumpers, especially when there's a short price favourite and a lot of good horses who've won on their only outing. But I think, with a gun to my head, I would go for Redemption Day each way. Just to summarise the video, I think my strongest fancy of the day, certainly the best value bet for me, looks to be in the Coral Cap on Ashdale Bob. I really hope I will have a video with some bets on for tomorrow, put up later today. I have to do more study, but this is my initial thoughts for Wednesday. I definitely see a couple of horses I'm looking at for Thursday, but I'd say at the moment my strongest fancy for Wednesday is Ashdale Bob. Watch the ground closely with the weather and the rain that's forecast, and perhaps some of these favourites could be vulnerable depending on that weather. But for now, I don't even know the results on Tuesday. I'll thank you for watching the video. I'd imagine the numbers will go down with so many people at Cheltenham. But that's my assessment of Wednesday. I'll be back to you tomorrow with my assessment for Thursday, and hopefully later tonight with a bet video. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the first 2 days of the festival. Bye for now.